Good morning, field biology students. Today is Thursday, September 10th, and we will talk through some insect basics and also enlighten you on our new requirements for the insect collection project. All right, so introducing the insect chapter or unit. So here is our insect collection COVID-19 style. We will change our required amounts. I guess in the past, what we've done is 40 insects that you collect with a partner, so working with a partner. This year, due to cohort A, cohort B, attendance hurdles that we'll have, and also just general class time, we'll change this to an individual project this year. And I'm going to, it sounds very low, but I'm going to have a limit of, or a goal of 15 different insect species. Now remember, with species, there are various kinds of butterflies or flies or ants or bees and so on. And we'll cover some of that here next week. So we will do a digital project, which means we'll turn this in this year on Google Slides. And so you will not give me a actual specimen at all. I won't actually handle or receive a body of an insect from you. Instead, we'll use photos and videos of the specimens. Now, that doesn't mean we don't want to collect some insects. We still would like some specimens for a lab we do with stereo microscopes that we will do at some point here in the next few weeks. We can talk more about that later. The final project that you turn in will utilize photos, drawings, videos of your specimens. And this was in response to the survey that verbal survey I gave you in class, where we asked for different ideas. And this will allow you to have some different perspectives and creativity. In the past, just having an insect on a pin, you're kind of limited as far as what you're dealt with. As could be a damaged insect. It could have been just a bad example. So this will allow you to maybe do some more creative things. Honor code, you sign the honor code every year, so we are going to follow that with your own original photos, drawings, or videos. And so validity is encouraged if possible. Having some signatures next to some of these insects or in the background, or even you. Okay, so be creative with that and try to validate your findings. The due date as of now is October something. Okay, a lot of this is weather dependent, and since this is the first time giving an assignment in this manner, I'm just going to leave that kind of open-ended right now, but generally we've gone the first couple weeks of October as a due date. All right, so a lot of information today, but remember that I will give you some more specifics into next week here. So for each of your 15 insects, here's the information you will need for each insect. An original photo, video, or drawing, or photos, videos, or drawings. Okay, so you can do more than one for each specimen. You'll also need the common name, the scientific name. Notice the different fonts that I gave you for common and scientific name, because of how they are written in real life, and we'll talk about those rules. Order name, and we'll talk about the insect orders next week in some video lessons. At least one original observation that you observed about your specimen, and one interesting fact about that insect. Other requirements of your project, at least one slide per specimen. So if you have 15 specimens, at the minimum, you should have 15 slides. Not saying you can't have more than one slide for a specimen to add some more info or spread out your content, but we don't want everything crammed into a small area. If you had 5 insects on a slide, it'd be really tough to see. I'm a big maps person, so you must include a map. Okay, and you must show where each of your insects were caught. Now, depending on where you caught them, maybe you have one map. Maybe you have a separate map for each insect, or maybe you have 3 or 4 maps. And these can be city maps, they can be road maps if you've gone and done some collecting outside of town. Could be a hand drawn map of your yard, or a Google image, Google Earth image. I'll leave it up to you to be creative with that. One slide must show your do-it-yourself kill jar. That was a separate assignment. So maybe you can get some action shots of that, or even talk about the features of it. But basically, talk up your design. And at least 3 drawings or photos from our stereo microscope lab. And I gave the number 3 because that's my favorite number, but that could change. So I'll leave that for now just as 3. Just to consider as you guys do your project, safety is a number one thing. I've had kids in the past that have found wasp nests and thought it'd be a good idea to try to collect some of them for their project, and resulting in several stings to their body. Here's where maybe a video of the wasps entering their nest and maybe a video of the nest would be maybe a safer option than trying to disrupt the nest to catch one insect. Okay, if you can get a good footage of it or pictures, you can more than likely identify them. Multiple views of a specimen. So I mentioned this, where maybe you have a butterfly visiting a flower in your yard. You could get a video or a picture of it doing its thing, pollinating and feeding on the flower. But then maybe you also find a dead version of that same species. Maybe you can get some close-up pictures of its wings or its antenna or something like that, and then you can kind of put all that info together on your slide. Clear identification. That is a learning experience for students. Many didn't realize there was more than one kind of wasp or one type of bee or grasshopper. So we'll have some notes next week. I've got a few books in the classroom we can use when I'm back, and there's also some online identification guides. So through experience, you'll start learning these tips and these things to do to identify your bugs. Now, for collection days, right now I don't see us collecting in class, mainly because morning time when we have field biology and downtown isn't a great insect haven. You're better off collecting, especially on sunny afternoons like today and the next few days. Collect on your home days. Take advantage of these sunny afternoons. 15 insects isn't a lot, but uh, the work will be in showing your information. I think in a digital way and in a clear and almost artistic looking way, a nice looking way. Is this an insect? Probably the most common question I have at the beginning of this project by students is they bring me something and then they go, "Is this an insect?" It's a great question because we're doing an insect collection. A worm, not an insect. I have kids every year bring in slugs or pill bugs, otherwise known as roly polies, and those things are not insects. So here's what your specimens need to have to be considered an insect. First thing is 3 body regions, and some insects this is very easy to see, some it isn't. But the head, thorax, and abdomen are those 3 regions, and that is from front to back. So their head is their front section, their thorax is their middle section, and their abdomen is their rear section. 1 pair of antennae. Now, some insects have antennae long or maybe even longer than their bodies, and some they're very short. Okay, 6 legs or 3 pairs of legs. So, um, something with 8 legs, like a spider, not an insect. Something with supposedly 100 legs, like a centipede, not an insect. Okay, so 6 legs. And then 1 to 2 pairs of wings. So most insects have 2 pairs of wings, but there are some that only have 1 pair. But nothing has more than 2 pair. All right, and another thing to consider is our temperatures. As you woke up yesterday on Wednesday, you probably noticed some frost outside on the grass. Many of you maybe were trying to see out your car window because you don't have your scrapers ready. Um, so we always have to watch out for that first killing frost. And this was taken a couple of years ago off the U.S. National Weather Service social media site, and they show for our area usually in that September 20 last 10 days of September is typically when we get our frost, and that doesn't mean all bugs will disappear. Ones that are exposed will. You still find insects outside. If they're in a protected area and we have a warm up after that frost, they'll still be out and about. But you can see where this happens for us. And it did drop to freezing, I believe, yesterday. But if it doesn't last long, those insects maybe won't be killed. So just something to keep in mind. All right, thanks for watching. If you could go and fill out the Google form called "What is an Insect?" Easy 5-point quiz. Hopefully, you score high on that. And this weekend, keep collecting, keep looking for things, start getting some pictures taken or even videos. Use your cell phone or a digital camera, and we can worry about trying to get those files into your project here. Once I'm back in the room, we can work together and figure out some things for that. All right, thank you.